afternoon, guys. We are back again on our demonstration. So today the dish I've chosen is hot fruit soufflé. So the good thing about that recipe, you can change the flavor at any time. So the recipe will work with any kind of fruit. So today I've chosen raspberries. You could use lemon, you could use things like passion fruit. That will be exactly the same. So I'm going to take you through the ingredient first. Okay, so for your ingredients, you will need some butter, which we will melt to prepare your molds. Yeah, you need some sugar, again for your ramekin. You will need some water, corn flour, a bit of liquor, a bit of coulis, and then to finish your soufflé you will need some egg whites, a tiny bit of sugar, and just to complete the dish, when we are ready to present, we'll have some raspberry coulis, a bit of raspberry powder, and a bit of icing sugar. Okay, for your equipment, you will need a palette knife, you will need a brush. Today I've chosen 2 small espresso cups to cook my soufflé in. You can use that sort of ramekin, that will do exactly the same job. Then you need a couple of saucepans, you need a whisk, a spatula, a piping bag, and here today I'm going to use the mixer. Yeah, so you need a bowl, and that's really it, really. So first of all, we need to melt our butter to get our molds ready. Yes, that's your first task, because you need to do that twice. So now our butter is ready, it's melted, and we are going to prep our cups. So as I said, today I'm using espresso cup, which I think they are quite appealing, especially if you have a white plate underneath. So I just want to show you it's from the bottom of the cup, and you bring the brush to the top, yeah, and that's quite important because it's going to help the lifting of the soufflé. So that's a very, very important technique. So I've prepped my espresso cup. I've buttered that twice, yeah. So the first one was done, placed in a fridge, and then I've done it a second time. Before I add a bit of caster sugar. So again, that's quite important because that's going to help your soufflé from rising. And then you just coat all the inside of the cup, just like that. As you can see, I've put a little bowl underneath, just to make sure that I get all that sugar back for the few cups I've got to do. So now what we are going to do, we are going to make the base of your soufflé. So I will call it a jam. It's not really a jam, but it looks very, very similar to it. So I'm transferring my coulis into a saucepan, and I'm going to bring that to the boil. I'm going to use a tiny bit of corn flour, and that corn flour is going to be mixed with a tiny bit of water and with the liqueur. And we are going to make sure that corn flour is turned into a paste. So you have to make sure that all that is mixed really, really well, no lump whatsoever. So you are going to use that corn flour to thicken your coulis. And as I said, that's going to be the base for your soufflé. So at that stage, the coulis is boiling. I'm going to add all my corn flour and my water to the mix, and I'm going to cook that. So at that stage, it's very, very important that you are bringing that mixture back to the boil, and you keep that for a while to thicken it. Remember, it needs to hold your egg white, so that's key to your recipe. So as you can see here, the coulis starts to thicken due to the corn flour, and we are going to, as I say, cook that until it's nice and thick. So now that's boiling quite rapidly. The coulis has thickened the way I wanted. And if you could have a look at that now, it's looking very much like a jam, yeah? And at that stage, we are going to transfer that into a clean bowl. Just like that. And we are going to cover that with a cartouche. And you know, I don't need to show you a cartouche anymore. I'm sure everyone knows how to make it now. That's going right onto the top. Just like that. And I'm going to leave that in the fridge to cool down.